Hello, everyone in podcast land. I'm David.
And I'm Jono.
And this is the show where we rip on skateboards, shred on pizzas, and shred the shredder with the shredded mayhem. It's the Let's Wing It podcast.
Yeah, but there's no shredder in this one. But
did you stay in the theater long enough?
Yes, I did. But here's the thing. He was there for like a minute. Maybe?
Oh, not even a minute.
Like half a minute.
We got a treat for you guys. We're going to be
Yeah.
talking to you about the brand spanking new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the 2023 update to the long-going franchise with many movies, many shows.
Yeah.
And this was a highly anticipated one. When the trailers came out, everyone's like, hey, they're taking a little page out of the Spider-Verse book.
Yeah.
And they released this movie with a lot of good stuff, a lot of other stuff. And I'm excited to talk about this movie, Jono. So why don't you tell me what you thought of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem?
I would, but first, I would like to thank all our Patreons.
Woo!
Patreon.com/Let's Wing It. You guys get exclusive content. We have about 17 people. Thank you guys so much for supporting us through the whole, was it 8 months? Oh, 6, 7 months anyways? Yeah, I know. We've been doing this. This is like episode 29, 30. I always lose track.
Can't wait till 69.
69. That'll be nice. So thank you guys so much. So join our patreon.com. So let's wing it. It's just basic enough. It's a great place to hang out. Just talk to us. I'm actually in there really actively. I talk, I reply. You guys have questions, I will give you answers. And I kind of drop like random pictures of either Cadence or my pranks on Colton and everything. So, but first, actually, one thing, even before that, I do want to address in the room, if you guys are on our YouTube channel, look at David. He has no more goatee. It's all a mustache.
It was never a goatee. Get it right. It was just facial hair of a depressed millennial who's let himself go.
Yeah, but now look at that mustache.
It's probably not going to stay like this forever. I'm too lazy to do it myself, but I got a haircut and I was like, hey, can you do a mustache? My girlfriend likes a mustache.
Yeah. So he looks good, looking good using his Elgato Facecam Pro.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Elgato.
You guys are
got some
doing
new
great.
lights incoming too, but no, not today.
Yeah. But anyways, back to topic. What I thought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And you knew, David, and some of the drumettes and everyone around me, I was super stoked for this movie. Because I love the whole franchise, but I'm not like into the lore, like and those like space travel, dimensional stuff. I kind of lost track after the Michael Bay thing. So my thoughts on this movie, watching it, Michael Bay, take notes. This is how you do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. It was fantastic. I loved every single moment of this movie. The artwork, the story, the voices, everything was great. So gives it 2 thumbs up. Fantastic. How about you?
I was so glad that this was the first Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where they're actually teenagers. Overall, broad strokes, I really liked it. I think it's very good. I think I went in with slightly too high expectations. Like I was like hoping, for Spider-Verse level, craft. And it's a really great movie. It's super engaging, super fun. I think they did a great job with the characters, like the improvisational energy kind of between the characters, the relationships, all that stuff works really well. And I find most animated action kind of turns me off. Like it just, I shut off. But they did a good job differentiating the different action set pieces. And I found myself actually like entertained by the animated action. And then when it matters, you're engaged with the characters and the story. And I think the style is fabulous. I think they did, obviously, they were inspired by the Spider-Verse look of kind of, mixed art style. But it's a more like doodly, sketchy kind of style that they put into the textures of the 3D models. And I think it looked great. And I think overall, it's just a great vibe. It's a movie that Cassie didn't get to see it with me. And she was like, if it's really good, tell me and I'll go see it with my friends. And I told her she probably doesn't need to see it in theaters, but that I would watch it with her at home.
Yes.
You know?
That's so one thing I kind of came out of it. Like I was thinking about on my drive-in today. I was going for a fact of there's some parts, sometimes the movies, like if it's like freaking fantastic, like Spider-Verse, I will gladly watch that multiple times. I really love this movie, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I'll actually watch it again. I think it's just, to me, I was like, it's good for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, wait, I do need to rewatch it because I had to go take a bio break in the middle of the movie, which please, movie theaters, just give me an intermission. Just give me like a 5-minute intermission.
Wait. You need to download the Run P app, where basically someone told me about this.
Yeah.
You look up the movie you're about to watch, and then as soon as it starts, you hit like start, and it'll vibrate when a good time to go pee is. And
oh my
so
God.
I downloaded it, but I haven't used it.
Oh my God. That's a game changer.
Yeah, it's game changer. But this movie's pretty short. It's a kid's movie, and that's my one like caveat to recommending this movie is that it sometimes feels like a kid's movie. Like I love animated movies, and I recognize that animation as a medium often is used to make movies that target, younger audiences, and there's nothing wrong with that. I fucking love Pixar movies. Yeah. And there's just like this fantastic animation. And this is no exception, but there was moments where I was like, oh, this feels like I'm not targeted. It feels like it's a kid's movie. There's some kind of overly simple things. But let's start. Like, I think this is my favorite depiction that I've seen of the Turtles ever.
Yes.
Pretty easily.
So kind of backstory in the 90s, I'm aged horribly. I grew up watching those like Saturday morning Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was all crazy. Just 90s cartoon shows hit different. It's if you try to watch it again, you're like, oh, this is terrible.
Except for Gargoyles. Gargoyles holds up.
Oh, Gargoyles and Batman the Animated Series. Those two are just.
I bet Batman Beyond's pretty good too, but I don't.
Batman Beyond's is pretty. It's not great at the start, but it gets really good later. Like it's kind of cringy. You're like, oh, it's just a teenager trying to be Batman. Yeah. But I had like such a love affair with this because it's like it's turtles, like mutants, kind of like cute, cuddly a little bit, and then also they fight with ninjas. And he had cool swords, and then Shredder was pretty cool. Kang, I never really liked too much because it was just so weird. Yeah. But it was just the whole kind of aspect of it. It's just the whole story. I mean, actually, maybe we should just even talk about synopsis. I mean, this is going to be a spoiler. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, so we're going to be covering the entire movie. No holds barred.
I mean, I'll give maybe a 30-second synopsis, or maybe just an overall aspect. It's based off a movie about finding your place in the world and trying to being accepted. So the turtles just kind of grow up in a way of wanting to join the real world. They find a way to do that by saving people, or they want to save people because there's a big crime wave. They find other mutants.
They don't even know if I feel like they don't want to be accepted to start. They just want to be liked, and they want to be allowed to enter the world and be cool and be popular.
Exactly. So like they just want to get that, and they want to go to school. So they try to find the bad guy, which is Baxter's, which is kind of weird. We'll talk about it a little bit later, which they call himself Superfly. It's a group of mutants that was developed by Baxter to make his own family, and they want to kill all humans. They kill all humans and make everything else mutants like them. So they have a big family and be great. It sounds very kumbaya. Based enough TLDR, they stop him. They join forces with the mutants. Baxter goes crazy in a big kind of mutant mayhem kind of way in downtown New York City. They stop him. They actually do get accepted, which is really cool. They get exposed. They don't have to live underground. They kind of give up the ninja way and they go to high school, which is actually like, to me, the ending was actually very cool. It's very PC, but I thought that was kind of neat because they turned it in a way of all the other franchises using the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've never seen that done. So I was like, that's a very
just
unique
like integrating them. Yeah. And it works so well. the character arc really feels like a teenager character arc where they're like, I just want to be liked, and they realize kind of the importance of like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then by circumstance, they get to do what they originally intended and save the world and stuff and be really liked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think let's go villain, because you mentioned Superfly, who at the beginning of the movie in the intro is just a little baby fly. And
it was actually cute. It was kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird that they made a fly cute. I can't believe it. And so then Baxter is like his dad, and he's got, the other mutants in the tubes or whatever in this ooze. He gets raided. Ooze goes in the sewer. But you don't really hear from Superfly until later. You kind of see him in passing when some goons are, stealing high-tech stuff and putting in a truck. But he's killing all the goons because no one can see his face.
Which is I was just very shocked. I heard that. I'm like, he kills people? I'm like, whoa, this is hardcore.
I think they did a really good job for a kids movie balancing the dark and stuff, because it feels kind of serious when it needs to. But so you don't see him until basically the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when they decide that like the best plan of action for being accepted and being liked is to be heroes. They decide, hey, we're going to go after Superfly. And so they basically work their way up the food chain, getting all like the lieutenants and kind of getting the information. And basically they're going to go to a meet with Superfly, give him the last piece of the tech, but really they're going to take him down.
It's a sting, baby.
It's a sting, baby. But when they meet him, not only is he a mutant like them, but he's surrounded by mutants like them. And for the first time in their lives, they see people like them. And so all of a sudden this like need for acceptance and being liked, it shifts. And I fucking loved that scene when it's like you realize like, holy shit, there's a lot of mutants. And then they just go bowling and they hang out and everyone's having a good time. And like even Superfly, like, obviously he's going to be the villain of the movie. Like I wasn't surprised. Oh no, he doesn't turn good. For like that scene, everything's good. And it's like, they even like the build up to Superfly kind of like revealing his pure evil. It's not even pure evil, but his like true darkness. You're kind of like, I kind of get it. And they're all talking about like, hey, like we're so glad we found you. Like, isn't it great to like have people like us? And like it's great. But then oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, the one kind of cool aspect is that they both had the same shared experience, which is with on the turtle side, well, it's not even Master. It just Splint. What did he even say his name?
They didn't say Splinter. Just they just call him Dad.
They call him Dad. So it just for just universe lore, it's Splinter, which is a rat that teaches them ninja skills, ninjutsu. But
oh god, I just as a small note because we won't come back to it, but I love that they learned.
Yes,
like, kung fu and shit from like tapes and YouTube and stuff. I thought that was such a good little montage.
It's so good. So like, I'll get to that point. How in the original lore, it's like Splinter was Shredder's rat. Pet rat,
that's right.
And he like learned and watched, but he was still a rat. And then he would pass off his knowledge to the turtles when they got oozed. But this one was amazing because it's like, it's so real because he's just like a dad. Like every shot was like the 90s or early 2000s. He had a mustache. He's like, I got to teach these kids everything. So that was probably like one of the top 5 moments in the movie. Just like, that makes sense that they learned by literally how everyone's learning these days, watching YouTube. And it's fantastic. But what I was going to say is the reason why I'm just going to say Splinter taught them the ninjutsu skills is because both groups tried to integrate to the human world. And they both had the same experience that all humans saw them, freaked out, and tried to kill them, which is great. But the cool thing is that Baxter, Superfly, and Splinter kind of like had same mindsets, but Superfly kind of went a bit extreme by going, to protect all my family, I'm going to kill everyone. And Splinter goes, we're just going to hide and just kind of like, actually honestly be a rat, kind of like,
well, I think it's an important distinction to make. His plan isn't to kill everyone. It's to make every animal on Earth a mutant.
Oh, that's true.
And basically dominate the Earth. And he's like, yeah, that'll kill most humans. But yeah, we'll keep some as pets. We'll keep some as entertainment. We'll keep some as this. So it's just like to shift the balance in favor of the mutants.
Yeah. And honestly, like that experience you're talking about, the bowling alley and getting acceptance. And then even like when Superfly is telling the plan, you can see the turtles are like, ooh, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not cool. I always kind of shared the same experience because I grew up very alienated as a kid because I was like in a very white community, and everyone either is with like me, was not like me. It was like there were Asians, but they were either Indians or there'd be Koreans. So and then, you know, not trying to be derogatory, they just kind of immigrated where I kind of grew up. I grew up. I grew up white. You know, I like all that stuff. So I wanted to like be like the other white kids and not hang out with the Asian kids because it's like I identified that group a bit more. So, oh my God, it was just like doing that bowling alley. I had like Ratatouille moments of just like zip out. I'm like, oh, because I remember I was at a party because I liked this one girl and she invited me, and you know the party kind of like moved to like school parks and stuff. And then one guy had beer. I was like 14, 15. I'm like, I don't know if we should be doing this, guys. Like I had that moment and they're like, yeah, just go drink. And it's just like, to me, it's like when Superfly was explaining the plan and then their hesitation, I had that same moment going, oh my God, like this is such a good lesson. Like kids need to watch this because I went through that. Unfortunately enough, I didn't stop the people from drinking. I drank with them and then I got arrested, which was not great. But the cops let us go because they're like, because they saw that we were drinking like 2% coolers and they mostly kind of laughed at us going, oh,
well, yeah. And they're more interested in scaring you than actually getting you in trouble.
Yeah. So I just love that moment. I felt so accepted until that point going, ooh, I don't know. Like,
yeah. And I love that because you're right. It's like that feeling of, I remember being a teenager and it's the first time, you know, you're around people doing drugs or you're around people doing stuff. You're like, can't do that. That's messed up. And like that discomfort. And you like, you don't know if you should speak up, but you're like, I know this is wrong, but I want to fit in and stuff. And so I love the way that builds into the chase. So basically they try and navigate driving their own car with the piece of tech that Superfly needs. And at the last possible second, you know, they use the stick, which is a great recurring gag. They hit the brakes. They kind of kick all the other mutants out of the car. And then all of a sudden it's a chase sequence to the great song. I can't remember the real name of the song, but the He-Man.
Because it's like, hey, bro.
when it started happening, because it starts with the original song, kind of like the more acoustic, real instrument one, and then when it becomes the chase, it goes into the meme one, and I was like, no, this can't be real. This can't be real. And then we get the full on, hey, yeah. We get the whole song. I wish that the music editing had been done a little bit differently because I didn't think I got the full impact. Like, I wish the hey, yeahs were on some crazy shit happening and it was like, you know, they get launched through the air. I don't know, something.
Yeah,
but it was
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you kind of want it to be the same kind of like situation when in the Spider-Verse when Miles is like rebelling against the whole Spider-Verse, and then you have that song. That song like hit really well. I totally get it. But I kind of liked it because it rounded it out. Because when the bad mutants are back at their base and assembling the machine that's going to turn everything into mutants, you can hear that song. You can see like Paul Rudd's Gecko character just like starts playing it really like melancholy. You're like, yeah, it kind of rounds out. But that's like kind of my favorite thing. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. I think the other cast. The rest of the cast of the Misfits too is pretty great. I didn't really, you know, pick up on who they were until I looked it up after, like that fact that it's Paul Rudd for the Salamander, or Rose Byrne is the other one. Who's the cockroach? God, that was fucking disgusting. I couldn't believe what they did with the cockroach.
No, I don't know. Oh, Oh yeah. Oh, now I'm remembering what the cockroach was. Oh.
Anyways,
yeah.
so after that chase, they get captured by, the evil corporation run by Maya Rudolph.
Yeah.
But they go and they get milked. Which was I thought was actually really fucking funny. Was
It's
that
a running
milking gag?
It's because
So basically, that's what Splinter. Yeah, Splinter warns them. He's like, "Hey, you don't want to get caught by the humans. They're gonna milk you. They love milking things." And they're like, "That's fucked up, man. Like, no one's trying to milk us."
Yeah.
And then when they get captured, she needs the blood of mutants so she can create more mutants. And so she milks them, and she milks them in a giant called Mega Milking 6000 machine.
Yeah.
And it is very funny. And that's when Jackie Chan's Splinter breaks in and saves them. And that's probably my favorite action moment in the movie because, huge highlight. They choreographed it like a Jackie Chan action scene. Like the way that he's kind of like improvising and using what's around him and kind of like doing stunts as he's doing it. Like it felt like watching an old school Jackie Chan movie.
I mean, everything felt very Jackie Chan when he was using the office chair. You're like, yes, this is a Jackie Chan moment.
Jackie Chan.
Because, for the viewers, if you haven't watched Jackie Chan fighting movies, it's not like there are some movies where he's straight up fighting, like it's one-on-one battle and everything, but where Jackie Chan's strengths in fighting is just the quote unquote improv of the fight. Like he's using ladders, he's using like household objects that you just don't expect. And his movements are very wild, kind of wacky, not very traditional. Yeah. And there were moments where the movie, moments of his fighting style, or at least the movie kind of fighting style, is that there was like highs and lows. Like he's winning, he's losing, he's losing. He's winning again, or he's done and everything. In this movie, there's a part where the locker falls on him. It looks like he just literally got squished. You're like, oh shit, he died. But he bursts out because the locker had all the weapons, and now he's like full on fighting mode. And it's just like, it's just fantastic. And speaking of the fighting things, I love the 3 fights. Is that one, the one with Splinter? The very first fight of these teenagers fighting those goons at the chop shop, because it's so bad that they didn't really get kind of like the flow of it. They're like, oh my God, we're actually in a fight. Crazy.
Yeah, at that point in the movie, that they have training, but they've never done a real fight. And so they're just goofing their way through it. Yeah,
but the other one, I think, to me, visually was the best one, was them going after the 4 goons. And it was very kind of old boy side. It was very side scroller because it would go from each turtle would lead the fight. They were like, oh, it's my turn. It's my turn. And you see their fighting styles actually getting highlighted. It's like Michelangelo is really crazy. Donatello is like distant fighter. Raphael is just like going to crash into everything. And then Donatello is just like, Leonardo is very kind of just like tactile kind of style. Like he's more finesse. Let's just say that. And I don't know. It's just like all those parts just to me worked really well.
I really like that sequence too, because it's like, I was worried we're going to have like a video game, part of the game or of the movie where you're like going after one person, going after one person, going after one person. So they compress it into basically, essentially one little tiny sequence that's mostly one shot where, like Jono was saying, it's like a side scroll. Like, so it's, it's like the virtual camera is like doing a big dolly, but as it's being obfuscated by foreground objects, it'll switch which turtle it's following and which setting it's in, which person they're chasing. And so it's like one big shot showing their styles. And it was really fucking cool. And it's the kind of thing that only really works animated. I feel like my brain would not accept that kind of one shot that's so artificial in a live action movie. But it was really cool, and I thought it was good. My one complaint about the action was I didn't love the first one as much as I wanted to. I liked the idea that they were kind of failing a little bit, but I don't know what it was in particular, but I found myself in the middle of that action scene kind of daydreaming during that sequence. It's not that it was anything in particular that was bad, but I found it was like almost like that Star Wars or Star Trek like overstimulation where there's just kind of like too much stuff happening on screen that like my brain just checked out for a second.
Yeah, there was like moments of like low points. Like it was either too fast at some points and too slow. Because here's the thing: is that like they were trained, they were inexperienced, but like the other guys, the bad guys, should know that they could just literally overwhelm these kids, especially those like the opening sequence when Donatello gets like stabbed by Raphael's like side, and it's just like, oh, these goons should be like, we can kick your ass,
just
like,
grab them,
just grab them. So I liked it for the concept of it. I didn't like the fight too much per se. Granted, there was like the other fight I did not like was when all the mutants unite and fought against Superfly. Okay. I didn't quite like that fight because it was just like everyone just like waited. I'm like, okay, you went and you failed. Okay, it's my turn. Like it felt. I know what you mean. Yeah. It didn't felt really good, and
it felt very much like they wanted to just like have a moment with each one, not create an action set piece that made sense.
Mm-hmm. So. And also how they kind of ended it. Like, I was really worried that the movie was going to end there. And I was like, they just like crash into the machine. Machine falls on Superfly and they go in the water. And I'm like, okay, that better not be like the last scene because that would just suck.
Yeah. I see. I thought you were talking about like the final Superfly fight.
No,
you're talking the pre him turning into a whale monster.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought that was like, it was what I liked about that sequence was that all of the mutants are on the side of the turtles. That all of them are like, yeah, this doesn't seem good.
Yeah.
And I was glad that there wasn't like, you know, a bunch of evil mutants that are coming out of it. It's just Superfly who's so hurt by what's happened. And like, fair enough. Like he was there when his dad was fucking murdered. And as a baby, he had to take care of his family. Like I understand how he would get to where he was.
Yeah.
But
it just that scene didn't feel well. But also like since we're on the topic, on the very, very last one, the last scene where all the turtles unite, that was also not the greatest. It didn't felt very smooth. And it just felt like they wanted to do the.
Well, I don't know if to me if it felt like they ran out of money. It just felt like they didn't have a great idea of how to best utilize the turtles or like what they've learned. Like it felt like kind of. You know, they could have done that the whole time. Like, and I think to me, the most satisfying conclusions or climaxes are when it's like the turtles at the beginning of the movie could never have done that.
Yeah.
But it's like maybe, but also like they didn't really learn some essential lesson or bring in some key skill that they had to fight for that allows them to overcome this obstacle.
Yeah.
And so it felt good. And I think what the obstacle is, you know, is uniting people. So they united the mutants and then they kind of unite the humans.
Yeah.
But what really unites the humans is April going on TV and being like, it's not the turtles that are bad, it's just the big one. Which I thought was, I don't know, it felt tacky to me a little bit.
It made sense for her character. I want to talk about her character in a bit. But
let's do it.
Yeah. The one kind of thing is just like, it felt very weird because like maybe because I'm older and cynical. It's like if you watch that in the news in New York City, first thing, there's no audio, there's no news stuff in New York City. No, it's just advertisements. So that's out and about. But two, the big thing is that like people watching the news and instantly believing it. No way. There's no way these people would not unite. Granted, they would try to fight the monster, but they won't go, let's help the turtles because yes, like they're the good guys.
Yeah, like the delivery driver pulling up in his taxi so he can grab it and like drive it up. It's fine. It's like a one shot and it's supposed to be cool. And like, you know, the action's getting more and more intense as they get closer where the turtles are now manipulating the thing. And it was fine.
Yeah.
But it felt, you know, like they were like, we need a crazy set piece. Not this is the natural conclusion to our character's journey.
It is a good... it's a good kind of like thematic when you see on paper, they're like, oh, you're going to show how the humans are now going to help the turtles as a form of acceptance and liked and supporting to make them integrate into society. But I don't know, just something about it. It was just like, something didn't,
although
it just kind of broke for me.
The Times Square guy, guess who is the voice of Times Square guy?
No, who?
Mr. Beast.
Oh. Wait, which Times Square guy?
I'm not sure, but he's credited as Times Square guy. And I'm pretty sure it's the guy with like the first guy who walks up to them and is like, I'm going to help you.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Cause
Which-
he was sponsored. He had to do an ad integration for that.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if he got paid to be in the movie, but I didn't.
Well, I mean, it's
yeah.
in a sense, no matter what, yes, he got paid to be in it because of that sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
I thought they were okay on sponsorships. There was definitely Pizza Hut pizza in it, but that's just like classic original movie sponsor. So I don't know if it's more money was exchanged or if it's just like a throwback to the original movies.
The original, yeah, it was either Pizza Hut or Domino's.
I thought it was Pizza Hut for the original ones.
I know the side scroll had Pizza Hut. Sure. I don't know. They kind of keep switching. I think it's because like whatever movie it is, they have like who had most money.
Yeah. Whoever's going to give them a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
So the journey, let's talk about April because we have kind of glanced over her.
So
they sort of, meet cute her by, they're playing with their weapons on a roof. They throw Ninja Star, it lands in her helmet, doesn't kill her, thank God.
Yeah.
And her bike gets stolen. And so when they chase down the goons that stole her bike, that's when they flub up their first fight scene. Yeah. But then she walks up after and is like, thanks for finding my bike.
Yeah.
And then that's how she's introduced.
Yeah. April was a very interesting choice. So for full context with the lore, except for the most recent series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I only watched like 5 episodes. That show's literally made for TikTok kids.
It's like the Netflix one?
Not that one. I think it was on the CW. Is
it the 3D animated one?
No, not the 3D animated one. It's a very like 2D. They all look very sharp. It's literally TikTok.
And they're all like very different, right?
Yeah, they look very different.
Yeah.
So this one, other than that, so April has always been kind of seen as kind of like the sexy heroine who's kind of independent and everything. Yeah. So it goes from the 90s TV show where she's wearing a skin tight suit that just made me very confused as a young boy. And then you get Michael Bay version, which is Megan Fox,
right? Yeah, I remember.
Oh my God. Like, it's just like, to me, I'm like, stuff that she's wearing is pretty much inappropriate for a franchise based around for kids' toys. And then now, I'm not going to objectify her, but like, she's not any of that. So she's a black girl because she's also a teenager, but also she has a realistic body size, which is great.
Yeah.
And I completely, to me, of all the characters, she's actually quite my favorite, like of all her struggles. And I completely liked it.
I agree. I really like the character design.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a good job, having her match the level of the Turtles because the Turtles are pretty intense in the best way where like they're like they feel like brothers. They feel like brothers hanging out and being silly and goofy.
Yeah.
And she fits right in. And she's great.
Yeah.
I like that they give her kind of, her backstory of fucking up her chance to be on camera and she kind of gets her little redemption. So they give her like a little bit of an arc. And she becomes more competent and like she's great. She's great the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't have any real complaints, but I just don't have any like standout moments with her.
I think
so like there was go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I think it's for me like how I kind of looked at it is like maybe I have like a lot of Ratatouille moments in the movie. It just like seeing her like throwing up. Like I didn't throw up as a kid, but I was like I had aspirations. I always wanted to like get attention, but I was like, always the quiet one. But I always had fears that I was like, I'm going to fuck up if I do anything big, like public speaking. I can do public speaking now, but back then, those points when like I was like in grade 5, 20 kids, I would literally want to pass out. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, because for her, she was called April O'Puke, because she's old puke girl, because she threw up when the first televised morning announcement. I guess US, you guys are crazy. You guys have live
you do actual
morning
televised announcements.
But yeah, she like puked and she's trying to redeem herself and get accepted into the crowd too. So she has that same kind of like, oh, we have the same goals. Like I need to get this figured out. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe for me, I just saw that. I'm like, saw a lot of myself in her too.
That's fair. I found I saw myself more in the Turtles. Like I actually found I was surprised, but I found myself relating the most to Leonardo.
Yeah.
Especially early on. Not because, he's like
you're
the
a narc.
shitty. Yeah. Not because he's a shitty narc, but like, just because, he's like, he has this vision for what he wants himself and his life to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, he always feels, I liked the brother dynamic, and it went a bunch of different ways, but that whoever's being the one that's like silly or being dumb in the sense that like they're not working together, everyone gangs up on him, and it happens so quick, and it shifts who's being bullied by the other ones.
Yeah.
But I felt early on when he's like, guys, like, let's just go home. I was always the good kid. Like I remember like I would get in trouble, and it would just make me feel so sick.
Yeah.
And so like I never narked or anything, but I was bad at lying.
Yeah.
And so I would get in trouble a lot.
Yeah.
If I did bad things. So it was always like, let's just do the right thing, guys.
I love the part when like they were in the school for the first time, and then they'll try to like figure out the last names. It's like, oh, I'll be Michael, and my last name is Angelo. Hey, I'm Angelo, which is like, I love that. And then it was like, it goes to Leonardo, and then all of them ragging on him because he'd be like, oh, you're going to be Nardo.
That was really funny. He's like, no, guys, I'll be Leon Ardo. And they're like, nah, Nardo.
Nardo.
It felt so real.
So sense. I was like,
that was really fucking funny.
I think, just like, I don't know if there's like much else to really dissect with this movie, because it's just like it to me. I think I just kind of like it clicked for me from my past.
Yeah. So the thing that I found interesting, and this has always been a complaint I've had, because I didn't actually watch the cartoon a ton as a kid.
Yeah.
I watched it like a little bit. I liked the live action movies, especially as I grew up, because they're so bad they're good.
Yeah.
I didn't like the 3D TV revival, like the TMNT. And I remember I watched the first Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I liked it more than I think the average consensus was. Like,
no, I like that movie too. Yeah, for sure.
It was fine. But what I liked about that one, and I always struggled with, was all the turtles always fucking look the same. It's just the color of their bandana that was different.
Yeah.
And to me, the first time I noticed that they were like putting a focus on character design and differentiating them to tell that story through like the way they look and they move, was that movie. And I really liked the way they look in this movie. I think they did a fucking fantastic job. Yeah. Where they're different, and you can tell like without color, just like the way they move, the way they talk, the way they're shaped.
Yep.
You can tell something about them, and and it's not too much, and it's not like that Netflix one or the CW one where they're sharp and weird.
Yeah.
It's like their bodies tell the story of who they are, and I think I just wanted to give a shout out to that.
Oh no, 100%, because like you see, spoiler, at the end they actually go to the high school that April goes to, and the one cool part is like they left, like you see them climb out of the sewer, and you see Michelangelo's I can't remember what it's called, like bandana or eye cover or the mask. His mask
sure.
falls down, and you're like, oh shit, like, because growing up, like you always it's just like automatically like that mask is them, but now when they enter that school, even themselves, like they had that kind of vision of like how everything's gonna go when they enter the school. They still had masks on, but now they're able to take that mask on, be their true selves, and you see each of them without the mask. There is still some color aspects associated with what they're wearing, but you can see it like, oh, that's Leo, that's Michael, that's Raph.
I love and the way they dress is so clear. Like it's like, okay, Leonardo's got like that blue preppy double polo thing, and you're like, I fucking hate this guy. And then Raphael, he's the red one, right? Yeah, he's kind of like got like the big kind of sporty hoodie, and he's like kind of just like a little rougher, almost like a little boxing looking. Yeah. And then Leonardo's got his like nerdy purple hoodie.
Donatello.
And then Michelangelo is
he's
orange?
He's a theater kid.
Yeah, and he's like the charismatic one, right?
Yeah.
And he's got his little party shirt and stuff. But even before that, like just like when they're in costumes, like you can tell which one is which, or you can tell what their personality is by the way they look. And I mean, like, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover unless it's an animated movie, and then it should be very clear what the character design is trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And they succeeded in that, because that bothered me so much in the TV show and the movies, where like they're exactly the same except for the colors.
Yeah, just literally colors. Like maybe Raph's a little bit bulkier in the Michael. Like
maybe sometimes.
Yeah. I did enjoy that Michael Bay movie, the first one. I'm like, oh, this is not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Granted, Michael Bay wanted to make them aliens, which would have destroyed me.
Well, he produced that one. He didn't direct it.
I thought
and it was kind of hot off the trail of the Transformers franchise becoming so big and then kind of starting to crumble. And so they were taking that sort of style of movie, taking something that people were nostalgic for and like making it real. And it's not great. Like, I don't recommend people go and see it, but I don't think it's as bad as people said it was.
Yeah, I think Shredder was like the coolest part of that movie because it was just kind of like a badass, and it was just like, he feels like a badass. But I mean, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. Overall, if you have Paramount Plus, just go watch it. Like, you're just paying with time, and also subscription.
Just play a video game on another screen. Don't fully pay attention.
Yeah. But
so I think we're in agreement that we would recommend that you see this movie, not necessarily in theater. Although if you're looking for something to go see in theaters and you've already seen Barbie and Oppenheimer and Mission Impossible, then this is a pretty good option.
Yeah,
this is pretty good.
I know, but Blue Beetle's coming out next week, so
I'm a little hyped for that movie. Although the trailer that played before this one showed way too much, and I was fucking pissed. I was so annoyed.
I was just like, that's so.
Like one of the shots that's like, okay, spoilers for Blue Beetle trailer.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. When the fucking grandma has the Gatling gun.
Yeah.
I was like, that would have been a great moment in the fucking movie, but now I know it's coming. Like, fuck you.
I think to me, it's like even showing the bad guy in it. I'm like, oh. Like,
yeah.
Like,
he wasn't in the first trailer.
Yeah, he was like, all I knew, I can't remember what her name is. Susan Sarandon. She's in that. She's the bad guy in that movie.
Yep.
Like I was like, oh, cool. But then that was it. Like, they don't really show too much. It just kind of like, Miguel from Cobra Kai. That's honestly, that's the only thing I'm like super hype. I'm like, oh man, this guy started in Cobra Kai and he's getting his chance. This is a big break. Yeah. And it just, it's same thing that we talked about, I think a couple weeks ago. It's like finally, it seems like DC's doing the Marvel method about hiring actors of just maybe except for Susan Sarandon, but like someone kind of relatively unknown or untested to be in a role that he can actually grow in. Because I've seen Blue Beetle a little bit in at least the DC animated universe, and I'm like, oh, this guy's nailing the part, and it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, it's just a shame that they don't have confidence in the movie to sell itself, so they have to show so much to entice people there.
Yeah,
because to me, I'm like, prospect of this Latino family drama that's like a little bit Spider-Man-y in the sense of like this, he's kind of poor, and this power will allow him to be a hero.
Yeah,
it's cool. I don't know it super well. Like, I only knew Blue Beetle from the Injustice games.
Yeah.
And so I don't know his power super well, but it seems to be like a little Green Lantern-y where it's like whatever he can think of, he can make.
He's basically the DC universe Green Lantern, but more exoskeleton. Yeah, more exoskeleton part. So it's like, I mean, like DC.
I think Green Lantern is DC, isn't it?
No, Green Lantern is Marvel. No. Yeah. No. Sorry. Yeah. No. Fuck me. No. I'm totally.
But it's like different. It's different, but it's kind of that idea, right? Yeah. Where it's.
I totally just like my brain died because it was like, yeah, Ryan Reynolds, he's Deadpool, which is more like just that stupid connection. But
I never seen that movie. I don't think I ever want to.
Deadpool?
No, I like Deadpool. Green Lantern.
Yeah. I was so hyped for that movie, and I watched it, and it came out going, that was fine. And then it's just like on the drive home, you're like, no, like it's that mixed up feeling. Like, do I actually like this movie? Like, and then it just progressively just got worse. And when I remember pulling up my driveway going, that movie was shit. Like, it's just that slow computation of just like, what was that? Like, what did I just watch? Did I just see Ryan Reynolds summon like 6 airplanes to pull him in space, even though that doesn't really make sense? And then he was like fighting everything. Yeah, so I know. Anyways, that was a bad movie, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think.
But this one was a good one.
This is a good one. One thing I kind of want to point out. This is not going to be super long, but on Friday, this is going to date this episode. So what happened? Because it's kind of funny because it happened in New York as well. Popular Twitch streamer Kai Cenat wanted to do kind of a random hot drop giveaway to his loyal fans who's following him on any social platforms or even on Twitch, is to give away free PS5s. And what resulted in that was basically enough a riot. People trying to get all those PS5s, all these people coming together, getting kind of crazy because they didn't win. But then you just basically enough get this mob of angry, I'm going to assume it's going to be young people.
Yeah, I think so. But
yeah.
Maybe not.
And they just kind of like took it really violent. And, people in the news are blaming Kai for it, which I think he does deserve some blame a little bit. There was a lot of blame on the New York Police Department because the police did kind of appears to have really roughhoused a lot of people, but also even the young people. There was a lot of videos of like these kids jumping on cars, breaking them, and just causing a big mess. So it was really disappointing. And it took me a couple of days. And I was looking at it going like, there was actually another problem here is that why did these kids go crazy and angry? And I was like really, it really bothered me. And I was like really quiet for the last couple of days. There is actually like an inherent problem that I find is that, it's one of those things is like these kids don't have anything to do that's actually very productive. It's summertime. I even see this when I go out with Jillian and Cadence and everything. It's like you see all these malls are just filled with kids just like in the parking lots, just like literally just like hanging out, watching YouTube and just hanging out with friends, which is nothing wrong. But then you just get this like inherent like frustration. And I think that's what happened is that they just had that catalyst. And Kai, he shouldn't have, to me personally, he shouldn't have done what he did. At least it should have been more controlled and more organized instead of just like a hot drop giveaway.
Yeah.
But he just basically had like a catalyst of just like, he just did it. Everyone got super frustrated. And then it just became literally mob mentality of like, let's just break everything we see in sight. And it's just really unfortunate because that's a really beautiful part of New York City. I really like that part.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that like everyone's a little bit responsible. Like, I don't really blame him. Like, I get, what he was thinking. He's like, I'm going to make a viral event. Yeah. I'm going to give away however many PS5s. And like, I'm giving away PS5s. Like, that sounds awesome. And like, people are going to run and it's going to be a great video. I think I have a bend against the police. So I have a feeling that they took this opportunity to, assert dominance and power in a way that they probably shouldn't have. Yeah. I haven't looked into the specific case, but I'm going to go on a limb and guess that there was a little bit of that.
There was one case I will tell you by that is that they grabbed this one individual. I'm not too sure how old that person was. And then there was a taxi, like a big yellow van taxi. They took the kid, random. You know how cops try to like, detain people, hold them against a wall or a car?
Yeah, sure.
They literally took him, ran him to the back, and the cop, that guy's probably fired, took the kid's head through the window. And it's just like, oh, that kid's going to, like, I hope that kid's okay, but that kid's going to get paid.
Cuts? Nah, I doubt it, dude. No. Cops don't pay shit.
Well, I mean,
that guy's probably on paid leave, if anything.
The
he
city
might
will
get
pay.
shuffled.
The city will pay.
You're right. The city will pay a little bit.
Yeah.
But that cop will face no punishment.
Yeah.
And that's more what I was thinking was they won't pay in that sense.
Yeah.
But let's not talk about cops. Fuck cops. We're not going to talk about them. Yeah. But I think to me, the more interesting part is the fusion of elements that lead to these youths being primed for such a riot. And I think it's like you said, there's not enough to do, but I think society wide there's this underlying fuel that's been building for a long time for a lot of political reasons that we're not going to get into right now. But there's this sense of unease worldwide, but certainly in the States of like, things are going to get really bad. Things are going to get really bad. So I think people are primed for, extreme things. But then I also think that there's an element of, social media that has caused us to make it okay to be extreme. Like in order to stand out, in order to get attention, you have to be extreme. And so the people that have stood out are the people that are like doing crazy, awful things. Yeah. Like there's a great subreddit called I Am the Main Character. It's actually a terrible subreddit because it makes me so mad. Yeah. But it's like people that are like just really shitty people because they're like, I'm the main character. Yeah. And I feel like more and more people, even though they're consumers of social media in the sense that like they aren't, creators, they're people watching this, they feel like in order to be themselves or be the best version of themselves, they have to elevate everything they do to this crazy level. Yeah. And so, we're politically primed and we're socially frustrated, economically frustrated on top of this crazy state of social media where people are just so desperate to stand out and they think that it's okay to stand out by any means necessary. Yeah. I can totally see how things escalated really fucking quickly.
I mean, you could you can't even blame, you can't blame the parents too. Cause even for me being here for the last, let's say 5 months, American people work really hard. But here's the problems that they're working really hard and they're working long hours too. You're as an adult, like me being in my late 30s, sometimes you just go home and I just can't deal with anything. And I can't even blame that. So it's we just kind of built a weird society of just pent up frustrations for sure. Because I'm working hard, I'm working long. These kids, I just can't deal with them. Just go on YouTube, guys, and just get on my hair. Give me 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. But
well, and it is what it is. I'm sad that happened. That sounds awful. Yeah. But I'm not surprised by the existence of events like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But I mean, that's what it is. It just bothered me for the last couple of days. I just needed to get that out. This is also
no fair.
Yeah, Let's Wing It is kind of my kind of open therapy. I can't go too deep with what bothers me, but that one was.
We went pretty deep last week, or at least I feel like I went real deep last week.
Yeah, that's fine. But actually, I would like to go to how we end most episodes now is, do you have any recommendations? Because I got one.
No, not really. I've been watching the start of new seasons of shows. Yeah. I've started the new season of What We Do in the Shadows and Futurama, and both are good, especially What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah. And this weekend I'm going to start watching Only Murders in the Building, but I haven't watched that yet. So I'm kind of in between.
I'm in between too. Yeah. So one I would actually say is Black Knight is a Netflix kind of it's kind of Netflix is now just buying all Korean properties right now. Okay. It's a Korean show that was probably made during COVID because everyone wears masks. It's a post-apocalyptic system. And it's basically, how would I call it? Death Stranding with more guns and more trucks. And I'm not going to give away too much of the story because it's kind of neat, but it seems kind of and they do it in a weird and unique way of a try and true angst hero helps new kid become also hero. So
I see.
I won't go too much else because also it's a little bit sci-fi and they take it into a different approach. Because even then, the new kid trying to be a hero, usually enough, you see that in beginning of episode 2. It's late episode 3, and I'm whoa, those starting super late. The usual trope is they start episode 2, beginning episode 2. Okay. So sure. It's a fun movie. I wouldn't say it's going to be the best thing ever, but if you need something in the background playing where you're just kind of zoning out, give it a shot.
Okay, that's Black Knight on Netflix.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, that's we got some pretty milquetoast recommendations for you this week, but I do recommend full-heartedly that you come back next week where we don't know what we're going to talk about. Yes, because we're just winging it.
Yeah, literally,
but until then,
I think we talk about it I think like 3 days before. It's like, what are we doing this week? It's
sometimes we know, like when it's like a big movie, like Barbie, we knew. You still haven't seen Oppenheimer. You need to see Oppenheimer.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. I think it's because so many people have talked about it. They're like, it's super dense. Like, be ready. It's like, oh God. Like, it feels like I'm like going to go on a run. It's like, oh, I got to like work my way into it.
It's fine.
But I think I have booked tickets for Friday night. So maybe.
So yeah, until next week, when we know what we'll talk about, we're going to be on X. You're Jono Tan 86 and I'm the chosen David.
Yeah.
As well as our email, which is letswingit22@gmail.com. Please send us questions. We love answering fan mail and all that kind of stuff. So we just appreciate you being here.
Drumheads, ask more questions.
Especially.
Ask whatever. Yeah. I'm really open books except for like other things. Oh man. I'll sponsor the Beacon one. Oh well, we'll just do it next week. It's fine. They just sent me the talking points. They just sent me the talking points.
That's next week. Look forward to our sponsorship.
Well, I will just end it off here. Go to beacon.com/discount/wing. I think you get $25 off. So I mean, this does not count as a paid read, but
no.
I just like the guys. The guys are great. You know, they're supporting us. They gave us mics. And if you guys like how we sound, give it a shot. Like, it's literally a great mic.
Yeah, they sound pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.